everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome. Today we're going to learn how to crochet the on-trend accessory pouch or zippered case. I have my sample one here in front of me, all except for I did not do one final step. We're going to do that today at the end of the video just because I wanted to show you how the zippered bag was put together. So this is the matching case to go with the on-trend market bag, which you can also find here on my channel. This is a fun accessory pouch to work. It's fairly straightforward and easy, and it's features a great texture. Now it is lined, and the way we've lined it is we've taken one of these zippered canvas pouches that you can pick up at a local craft store, and we just insert it inside our sleeve and sew or glue it on to make a nice lined bag. So today for the tutorial you are going to need one of these canvas pouches or canvas zippered bags. Mine measures approximately 7.5 inches by 10 inches. I'll give you some instruction a little later on how to adjust the size if you'd like. You're also going to need some cotton yarn. I'm using the 24/7 cotton by Lion brand. It is a medium worsted weight yarn. There is approximately 186 yards per ball of yarn. You're going to need 3 different colors, and you're only going to use about half, maybe a little less than half of the ball of yarn. So you don't need a whole lot because of the types of stitches in the bag. They do use a little bit more yarn than other ones do, so you are going to need a little bit more. You're also going to need a 4mm or a G6 crochet hook and a copy of the free written instructions, which are on my website at richtexturescrochet.com. So thank you so much for joining me. Also, one other thing, you're going to need a sewing needle or a little bit of fabric glue if you want, just to work around the top of your bag. But we'll go over that later on. So thank you so much for joining me. While you're here, don't forget to subscribe, take a look around. This channel is updated every single week with free crochet patterns and stitch tutorials. So for our little bag today, we're going to work from the bottom up. You're going to start by taking your color A. I'm going to be working in this gray color and make a slip knot. You're then going to work a foundation chain, and your foundation chain for the bag, as I have worked it for 7.5 by 10 inches, you're going to need to chain 47. If you need to adjust the size, you can. You're just going to need an odd number of stitches for this foundation chain. So go ahead, chain 47. Once you have that foundation chain worked, you're going to begin your round 1. We'll be working in rounds by working a half double crochet into the second chain from your hook, and then a half double crochet into each stitch all the way across until you have 1 stitch remaining. When you come all the way across and you have 1 stitch remaining into that final stitch, you're going to work 3 half double crochet stitches. And this is going to cause you to turn your work so that you can now work along the opposite side of your foundation chain. So now working across the opposite side of your foundation chain, you're going to half double crochet into each stitch all the way across once again until you have one chain remaining. At the end of round 1, you have one stitch remaining. Into this final stitch, work 2 half double crochet stitches and join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. You're then going to chain 1, continue working in the same direction, and for rounds 2 and 3, you're going to half double crochet into the same stitches joining, and then half double crochet into each stitch all the way around. When you come to that first stitch, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch, chain 1 and repeat. So you'll want to work 2 more rounds of half double crochet stitches and then meet me back here. Once you come all the way around at the end of round 3, you're going to want to switch to your color B. Now there are a couple of ways that you can do this. One of the ways that I like to do it is while I have one stitch remaining with the color A, you're going to yarn over when working a half double crochet, insert it into that final stitch, yarn over and drop a loop. You can then take your color B, place it on your hook and draw through all 3 loops. You're then all set to continue working with your color B. You're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch and then chain 1. You're then able to fasten off that color A. Now for rounds 4 and 5, working with your color B, you're going to work half double crochet stitches in each stitch all the way around, but this time working in the 3rd loop of your stitch. So to find the 3rd loop, when you are looking at your half double crochet stitches, you have your front loop and your back loop at the top of the stitch. If you pull your work forward and you see the back of the stitch, you'll see a loop running, I'll move that one out of the way, just under your back loop, parallel to it. This is called your 3rd loop. So you're going to work into this stitch at the back of your work only. So yarn over, insert your hook under that 3rd loop, work your half double crochet. Repeat that in each stitch all the way around. When you come to your first stitch, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch just as you did before. And you're going to actually chain 1 and repeat. So you'll want to do this for rounds 4 and 5, working the 3rd loop all the way around, work a half double crochet in each stitch. When you come to your first stitch, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch, chain 1 and repeat once again in your color B. So at the end of round 5, meet me back here. At the end of your round 5, you've joined with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. Now for round 6, you're going to chain 1, continue working in the same direction, and work a half double crochet into the same stitches joining. You're then going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, and work a half double crochet into the next stitch. You're going to repeat that all the way around. Chain 1, skip 1, half double crochet into your next stitch, chain 1, skip 1, half double crochet into the next stitch, all the way around until you come to your final stitch. You're going to finish off with a chain 1, skip 1, and then join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. At the end of round 6, you've ended with a chain 1. You're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch and chain 1. Continue working in the same direction. Now for rounds 7, 8, and 9, we are going to work 3 rounds of feather stitches, which forms the texture in this pattern. To work our first feather stitch, we're going to work a beginning feather stitch, and you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain 1 space, yarn over, and draw up a loop to the height of your stitch. You have 3 loops on your hook. You're then going to yarn over, insert your hook into the skipped stitch 2 rounds below, yarn over, and draw up a loop. You'll have 5 loops on your hook. Next, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain space, yarn over, and draw up a loop, 7 loops on your hook, yarn over, and draw through all 7 loops. That is your beginning feather stitch. You're then going to chain 1 and work another feather stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same chain 1 space as the previous stitch, yarn over, and draw up a loop. Yarn over, insert your hook into the skipped stitch 2 rounds below, yarn over, draw up a loop. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain 1 space, yarn over, draw up a loop, 7 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 7 loops and chain 1. You're going to repeat that, working feather stitches all the way around until you come back to your first stitch. When you come all the way around at the end of that round 7, I just want to show you how you're going to work your final stitches. So I'm working a feather stitch. I have 2 chain 1 spaces here left. There's 1. And you're going to chain 1, and you want to fill in this other chain space. So you're going to work 1 more feather stitch into the next same chain 1 space, yarn over into the skip stitch down below, then yarn over and insert your hook into the next chain 1 space. That was the same chain 1 space as your first feather stitch. So insert your hook, yarn over, drop a loop, complete the feather stitch, chain 1, and join with a slip stitch into the top of your first feather stitch. At the end of this round, you will chain 1 and turn your work. You're then going to continue working feather stitches just as you did before. So your first one is going to be into this first chain 1 space. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, drop a loop, yarn over, insert your hook into the space below that first chain 1 space, yarn over, drop a loop, yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain 1 space, yarn over, drop a loop, yarn over and pull through all 7 loops and chain 1. You're going to continue working your feather stitches all the way around until you come back to that first stitch once again, work the final feather stitch, chain 1, and turn your work. So you can go ahead and complete up to round 9. So you'll work this round of feather stitches and then another round, and then meet me back here. At the end of round 9, you're going to finish off with your chain 1, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first feather stitch. You do not need to turn your work at the end of round 9, so do not turn your work. You want to have the right side facing for round 10. You're going to chain 1, work a half double crochet into that first stitch, and then half double crochet into each stitch and each chain stitch all the way around. So you're working the half double crochets into the tops of your feather stitches and into your chain stitches. At the end of this round, you'll want to once again have 94, I believe it was, yes, 94 stitches all the way around, which is how many you would have had when you started. So just make sure that you have 94 stitches. Join with a slip stitch in the top of your first stitch. Before you do that though, you are going to switch over to your color C. So switch over to the color C in the final stitch and then join with a slip stitch into the top of your first half double crochet. At the end of round 10, you're going to join your color C in the final stitch and join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. You can then go ahead and fasten off your color B. Now for rounds through to 11 through to 17, you're going to repeat your rounds 4, which began with the half double crochet in the third loop. You're going to repeat that round 4 through to 10. You're then going to switch back to your color A. Once again, repeat rounds 4 through to 10. At the end of that round, that will bring you through to the end of round 24, and you can fasten off, weave in your ends. Meet me back here and I will show you how to attach the sleeve to the canvas pouch. If you need to have that written down somewhere, feel free to head over to richtexturescrochet.com and you'll find the free written pattern there. It's also linked in the description of this video. But maybe back here at the end of round 24. So once you have completed through to round 24, this is what your little pouch is going to look like. You'll want to go ahead and weave in any ends that you may still have showing. You're then ready to attach your accessory pouch to your canvas pouch. So all you're going to do is take your pouch, insert it into your crochet portion, just like so. Make sure that the corners are matching. Now I found with the 24/7 cotton that I did not need to block the final product too much. Depending on what yarn you're using, you may find that you need to. But you want your zipper to be up at the top. Now there's a couple options here. You can either sew just around the top by the zipper, or you can use a little bit of fabric glue if you'd prefer and just glue the bag into place. If you were going to sew it, one of the things I was doing, I found it was very possible with the 24/7 cotton, is if you take a look at it, it does split with a little bit of coaxing. and you can untwist it. So I just took a strand from the 24/7 cotton that matched my final color A, and used that to sew the top of the bag in place. So you're just going to attach your yarn. You want to work kind of up around the top of it. I start by working a little knot there, and using your favorite stitch. I'm just going to use a little bit of a back stitch here. You're just simply going to make sure you're working through both the canvas pouch and the crochet portion, and you're just going to sew around the top just below the zipper all the way around the top of your bag. And that's all you're going to do. Once you have gone all the way around, you can then fasten off, weave in your ends, and enjoy your on-trend zippered accessory pouch. So that's all there is to working this bag. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, I recommend that you check out the Matching Market bag. They make a very cute set. It would be a great gift either for yourself or for someone else, and I hope that you really enjoy it as I have been enjoying mine. So once again, thank you for joining me, and don't forget to subscribe while you're here. Be sure to keep checking back. If you happen to make the accessory pouch or any of the patterns on my channel, feel free to tag Rich Textures Crochet. I do love to come by and admire your work on social media. So until next time, happy crocheting. Bye.